Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Welcome to the Garage, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Clayton behind the camera. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. And this, for the next little while, is the Court of Public Opinion. We're just musing, Pete and I, as to how fast the year was going. I don't know, are we going to take a break at the end of the year, Pete?
Oh, look, I'll leave that up to you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, people can let us know what they think.
Yes. Tell us to keep going or tell us to shut up. That's all right. Let's talk about health. We have a looming, it's a good word, looming, a looming medical crisis with a shortage of GPs, general practitioners. This is the building block, the cornerstone of health in our community. It used to be that 1 in 2 medical students would choose general practice. 1 in 2. Now it's 1 in 7 or 8. And the government pretends that it doesn't know why. Hey, listen. It's money. Money and lifestyle. And of course the honeypot that is Medicare. Well, it's the honeypot that Medicare has created. How many times do I have to say it? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. They had no idea that their policies would result in this, any more than they had any idea that the NDIS stupidity would be a fully funded taxpayer disaster. In short, they have no idea. Good intentions, oh yes, but they have no idea. Explain to me how the cost of somebody walking into a GP's surgery can cost so much. It's not possible. The Medicare rebate. Remember the government commitment? Free medical care. No one was suffering before Whitlam and Medibank, and then later Medicare. No one was suffering. There was no ramping, no problem with general practitioners. The rebate at the moment is about $44. That's when you walk into the doctor's surgery, the doctor gets $44 from the taxpayer. That doesn't make it free. It's not free. You walk into the doctor's surgery, that's what it costs for the doctor to sit there. Now, that doctor is running a business. The overheads are not our problem, or the taxpayer's problem. If it is the staff, the electricity, the insurance, the legal attachments and whatnot, and contrivances, cost of living, well, I mean, that with the cost of electricity affects everything, absolutely. That is the government. That's their problem. They drive all those costs up, not us. A new Greens policy on health, they will set up free health clinics. Yeah. Wow, free GPs. Isn't that what Medicare was set up for? Paid for with a Medicare levy? Huh? A free universal healthcare system. But you pay for it with a levy on your income. Yes. I get it. It's a joke. But no one is going to stand up, particularly in the media, and call this government out for this absurdity. It's exactly like childcare. Crazy. We spend $14 billion. Think about it. $14 billion on childcare subsidies, which of course drives up the prices charged for childcare. Hey, how about that? Why?
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
The Productivity Commission has gone so far as to recommend a further $4.7 billion be spent on childcare. It's a dog chasing its tail. I just don't get it. I don't get it, ladies and gentlemen. If I want to get married, it's my choice. If my wife and I want to have children, it is our choice. If my wife decides that she wants to go back to work, it's her choice. Nothing to do with the taxpayer. You know, you want to go back to work, you look after the child that you had. No one forced you to have that child. Nearly $20 billion on subsidies to look after children who are the responsibility of their parents. What have I got wrong here? What is it that I don't understand? You have children, you look after them. Huh? I don't think it's rocket science, is it? Four Corners launched an attack on nuclear power. Oh, well, you know what they're doing. I mean, basically that's not an attack on nuclear power, it's an attack on the Liberals. Yeah.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
It's a failed technology, they say. A failed technology. What absolute rubbish. Yet the same government is spending $360 billion to buy nuclear submarines. Nuclear power is a proven technology. As I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, and you can do that on Friday around the dining room table, jeremycordeaux.com, 9 to 12, live streaming. As I understand it, the Libs are just saying, let's consider nuclear power for cheaper, cleaner power generation. What's the harm in thinking? What's the harm in talking? But most importantly, in thinking. But of course, if you are of the left, you can't think. There is no freedom of thought, let alone freedom of speech. We here in Australia lost something like $300 million last year to scammers. Australia is a target because we're a soft touch.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Please listen. This is how I live. It's not how I choose to live, but it's living defensively. Every call and contact that I get, be it a SMS or it's a phone call or it's a email, every contact I regard as a con until it is shown to be otherwise. And most times it isn't. And I'm the wiser and the richer for that cynicism. I suggest we all adopt it.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Why is the government subsidising electricity bills? Just a wild thought out of the ether. Why is the government subsidising electricity bills when they told us that their renewables policy would provide us with cheaper electricity? Worth thinking about? They are lying, and have been since coming to office. It's just like The Voice. Oh, sure, I know, they mean well. Gee, of course they do. Yep, the Chinese can use our cheap coal to benefit their economy and their people, but we can't. And we accept that? Extraordinary stuff. Charities are complaining. I haven't actually heard, charities tend to want to go under the radar. I haven't sort of seen anything like this for a while. Charities are complaining that those lotteries, and if you watch evening television around news time, you see an awful lot of promotion for those charitable lotteries. They're offering $5 million homes and $700,000 Ferraris. Well, the charities are saying that they're undermining their fundraising. As you might know, I've been talking about this sort of stuff for years. To listen to charities over this matter, it's a turf war, really. But these businesses...
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
With their lotteries don't just barge in and start selling tickets without permission. There is a deal done, and we... I don't know how... I can only imagine how it happens. They would sit down and they'd say, look, we've got the apparatus, we will use your name, your charity, and you will legitimise our lottery, and we will pay you X for your trouble. You don't have to do anything. What they're really saying is, we'll do all the work, we'll take all the risk, do all the promotion, spend all the money on advertising, we have to sell all the tickets. You get, say, I don't know, $100,000. Come on, 10% of something is worth more than 100% of nothing. I think that's how they do it. But the main game is a change to the law. Actually, let's have a law. There isn't one at the moment, you know. If you are raising money for a charity, or you're using the name of a charity to raise money, you don't have to declare how much of every dollar you raise actually goes to the cause, the charity. Now, we have to change this, and until we do, people, let me say it quite frankly, should not give a single cent to charity. I've been through it before with you. The problem is the law. There is no demand or requirement on any charity. Part of this $200 billion a year industry in Australia, God knows what it's worth worldwide. There's not one obligation on these people to give a single cent to the cause for which the money was collected. Why hasn't this been fixed and legislated to be totally transparent and honest? I have no idea. Why? Why would people not want to confront that? But knowing this government, nothing would surprise me. Not that the Liberals did any better. When it came to regulating charities, this has been going on for years. And I would imagine that it will be going on for many years to come unless somebody stands up and does something about it. Historically, Australia has had very, very cheap energy costs. Labor has driven the cost of electricity prices up beyond belief. The problem, of course, as I've said to you a few moments ago, is renewables. To get rid of renewables, you've got to get rid of labour. It's that simple. Not just your electricity bill, but everything we buy, everything we do, every place we go, everything in our lives is affected by Labor's alternatives obsession with electricity and the consequent high cost of energy, which we don't have to have. Amazing stuff. And when you think that the ALP was so unanimously elected in the ACT, the Australian Capital Territory, I have to be fearful of our national common sense or intelligence. I want to talk to you next week, if I can, about what I might call corporate elder abuse. And I would urge you to be very careful of retirement villages, because it's a terrible thing to commit loved ones to that sort of institutionalized exploitation, which can be. I'm not saying every retirement or nursing home is like that, but I'm concerned enough about the industry to want to talk to you about it in much more detail. Mornington Peninsula in Victoria, and I know this program goes to Victoria, goes everywhere, goes all over the world. Mornington Peninsula Council have voted to install an Aboriginal voice to council.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
And do you know, without any consultation with the community whatsoever, and they're getting together in Victoria. It's an extraordinary move. I'm talking local government. Local government wants councillors before the council elections to declare their position on Middle Eastern politics, on, free Palestine stuff. What in God's name can local government in Victoria or Australia possibly have to do with Middle Eastern politics?
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
And yet that is something they are wanting to have taken into consideration when the people, good people of Victoria, vote in municipal elections. What a lot of rot. Pathetic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You know, if you want to have an influence over foreign affairs, stand for federal politics and go into the Foreign Affairs Department. Local government has nothing to do with foreign policy. Gee whiz. Now, don't forget the Rising Sun, one of our wonderful sponsors. 60 Bridge Street at Kensington. It is a beautiful old atmospheric building, open fires, high ceilings, made of handmade bricks. I was going to say convict, but we didn't have convicts here. They're just beautiful handmade bricks. 1845 was the year. But that doesn't mean to say that you're going to be caught short on any of the modern conveniences of going to a beautiful restaurant or a bar. The Rising Sun Inn has got history, it's got atmosphere. Grant will take very good care of you. Jackie's coming in on Friday, by the way, to the dining room table, because they've got a really big year next year. It's a really big celebratory year for the Rising Sun. And they've got a bit to celebrate, like their award for the best inn and bar in South Australia. Wonderful. The Rising Sun Inn, 60 Bridge Street at Kensington. Happy birthday if you're having a birthday. October the 23rd. On this day in 1923, the US Patent Office issued an American inventor. His name was Sebastian Hinton. He came up with a playground climbing structure known as monkey bars. Patent number 1471465, if you're interested. 1923, golly. Apple released the iPod in 2001. Not the iPad, the iPod. Is there a thing called an iPod?
I don't know the difference. No.
I don't either. During World War II, Britain launches a major offensive at El Alamein, Egypt. 1954, Britain, France and US agreed to end occupation of Germany, but the El Alamein Egyptian offensive was 1942. Walt Disney, the animated film Dumbo was released in 1941 on this day. Michael Crichton, American novelist. The Andromeda Strain, Congo, screenwriter for Jurassic Park, ER, television, film producer. Twister, The Looker, born in Chicago. Michael Crichton. He died in 2008, but born this day in 1942. He had a fine body of work. One of the first modern plastic surgeries in the West was performed by Joseph Courpoul on a soldier's nose in England using Indian techniques. 1814. Because I thought plastic surgery was invented by a New Zealander. In fact, that's where the phrase was coined, plastic surgery. I must look that up. Marcus Brutus, Roman senator, most famous for, he was one of the assassins for Julius Caesar, commits suicide. He was born in 85. He died that was 85, 42 BC. In 1942, all 12 passengers and crew aboard the American Airlines DC-3 airliner killed when it was struck by a U.S. Army Air Force bomber near Palm Springs, California. Among the victims is composer Ralph Ranger, who was famous for writing Thanks for the Memory, which was Bob Hope's theme song. That was 1942. Ryan Reynolds, Canadian-American actor, The Proposal, The Green Lantern, Deadpool, born Vancouver, 1976. Adele releases her single, Hello, becomes the first song with more than 1 million downloads in 1 week. Hey, are we there yet, Pete?
A long way short of that.
What's Adele got that we haven't?
Yeah, I quite like it. I do.
You do?
Yeah.
She's not very country.
No.
Yeah. I like that song that you...
Oh, Emmylou Harris.
Emmylou Harris.
When I Was Yours.
When I Was Yours and You Were Mine.
I might try and put that on the end and...
Can you do that?
Yeah. And if Facebook knock it back, I'll know before
Yeah.
I publish it.
They're a bit funny about that. Richard Nixon agrees to turn over the White House tapes, 1973. It'll sort of teach you to go around recording stuff without getting permission. The world's a tricky place. Too many lawyers, Pete. Too many lawyers. Women take the day off in Iceland to commemorate International Women's Year, shutting the country down for a day on this day in 1975. Johnny Carson, American comedian and TV host of The Tonight Show, born in Iowa. He died in 2005, 1925. What I loved about him was that he made everything look effortless. He was just the consummate professional, Johnny Carson. A one-off. Thank you so much for being with us. Do join us on Friday around the dining room table when Elder Fine Art and the Rising Sun Inn will present our live streaming jeremycordeaux.com 3-hour radio show. And I hope you might give us a ring and have a chat to either me or some of our guests. Believe in yourself. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton and I'll be back next week. Thank you for viewing The Court of Public Opinion.
This person's been a dear friend of mine for a long time, and a friend of my husband's before me, so she's also my friend-in-law.
That's right.
It's all yours, Emmy.
All right. Well, I'm pleased to be here tonight as a songwriter, because I probably went through the world's longest writing block of about 6 years between writing songs. And so I guess now that I've appeared publicly on this show, I'm going to have to keep on writing. At least one a year. So I'm going to do one that you will not have heard. This is my newest composition. In a lonely room, waiting for the night to fall, I hear your voice. And every whippoorwill that calls, and it takes me back to a better place and a sweeter time when I was yours and you were mine. As the shadows fall and the light grows dim, I see your face, I close my eyes and feel the warmth of your embrace as I long for you. And for all those days that hearts entwined when I was yours and you stars shine, then I'll be yours. Can you be mine? Yes, we'll go back. Better place and a sweeter time when I was yours and you were mine. Debut City.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.